Hello and welcome back to episode 3. Well, not welcome back to episode 3. Welcome back to the Go-To Podcast. This is episode 3. I am your host, Anthony DiDomenico, and we are coming to you from the Man-Child Studio in beautiful downtown Long Island, New York. That's where we're coming from. We're recording another episode. I want to thank everybody who reached out and is giving some awesome feedback regarding the show so far. I am very glad and happy that you are enjoying it. It is really, it means a lot. I'm having a blast doing this podcast. It feels great to be podcasting again. And, doing this show is kind of, woken up some creative juices and got them flowing. And I just keep getting some more ideas for the show, and eventually we'll get them into fruition. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some more planning, but we are definitely going to do that. I hope everybody had a great week. Weather's getting nicer. We're getting ready for spring. Hopefully we actually have a spring. Here on Long Island, sometimes you go from winter to summer. And I like that little springtime, where the weather it's warm during the day, cool at night, nice sleeping weather. You open the window, get the cool air in, but it's not cold enough where you're freezing. That's a sweet spot. And you get that in fall as well. So hopefully we do have more of that coming up, because last year it went from like winter, and then all of a sudden it was burning hot. Let me adjust my mic. I should have done this before I started recording, but we go on the fly. That's what we do here. So anyway, last week I had said it was Easter Sunday when I was recording, and my dad and I were going to dinner. And I wanted to talk about that place. Let me tell you something. I'm not a big restaurant guy. I don't go to a lot of restaurants. I know you see a big guy sitting here who likes to eat, and you're like, Anthony, you don't go to restaurants? Well, I don't really know. I don't. They're expensive, number one. Also, I'm a picky eater, believe it or not. I don't like certain things in my food. I have to know what goes into my food. It's a joke in my family that they trick me into eating shrimp all the time. When we go for Chinese and the dumplings, there's the shrimp in the dumplings, even though it's a pork dumpling, it's shrimp and pork. And I've eaten 8 million of them, but I still say I don't like shrimp. And everybody goes, no, but you like shrimp. I'm like, no, I don't like shrimp. Are you eating shrimp? I never eaten shrimp. You've eaten shrimp in the dumplings. I'm like, dumplings don't have shrimp. And it's so on and so on. And we go back and forth about it all the time. So I like to know what I'm eating. I like to have control of what I'm eating. So I like to cook for myself. I like something simple where I can see everything. I don't like seafood at all. I don't like anything that comes from the sea, whether it be fish, shrimp, shellfish, mussels, clams, any food that you get from that ocean or water source. I am not about it. I do like, like the big chicken, pork, and steak, and those kind of things. I don't eat all kind of meats. Some meats give me the heebie-jeebies, so to speak. Like venison. I work with a guy. He was a hunter, and he would talk about all these great things he made with venison. I was curious, and I would ask about it, like, he's like, you got to try it. You got to try it. It's delicious. So he got me some venison ground beef that he had made up. I decided to make a meatloaf because he had told me he made a meatloaf, and I'm cooking. It smells delicious. The house is smelling great. Loaf's cooking, making my sides. Take it out. Oh, the smell of it's awesome. nice, like, you take the meatloaf, you take a meatloaf out of an oven and that like glaze over it with the, the fat on top of it and everything, and it looks nice and juicy. I love meatloaf, so some people don't like meatloaf. I never got the little sidebar right here. I never got like in TV shows and stuff that meatloaf was a bad thing to eat. Like kids that I don't want to eat meatloaf. It's not like it's a piece of fish in front of you or like tongue or liver. It's meatloaf. Delicious. So I'll go back to, so I made my meatloaf with the venison, and there it is. It's sitting there. It smells great, and cut a nice piece off, and get my sides on the plate. I sit down to eat, and I can't get out of my head this is a deer. This is Bambi. I don't know why cow is okay. Like, I guess because I just grew up on it. Like, or like a pig. The deer freaked me out for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why eating a deer messed with my head that much, and I couldn't get over it. And I started eating it, and it's delicious, but it was making me like gag because it was deer. So I had to like scrap it and throw it out, and that was it. And excuse me. I watch a lot of these camping videos on YouTube, and they eat all sorts of things, wild birds, and I saw a guy eat beaver one time, like a beaver tail, and they're eating like ox and I don't know, like bear. I can't do that. I gotta eat stuff that comes from the grocery store. That's really basically it. Or I don't see it packaged, ready to go. That's not my jam. But anyway, so let's get back to the whole restaurant thing. We went on a little bend. Oh, so well, before we get back to the restaurant, talk about meatloaf. My mother made the absolute best meatloaf, and her secret, not really a secret, but she would put a package of dried onion soup in the mix and some soy sauce. Phenomenal, phenomenal meatloaf. I'm telling you right now, that's the way I grew up my meatloaf. My grandmother made it a different way. My grandmother made it more traditional. And my grandmother would put mashed potatoes on top and then put it back into the oven and they get really crispy on top. It was awesome. So those are the two ways I grew up eating meatloaf. And I love meatloaf. I'll eat meatloaf any chance I get. Nice big hunk of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, some veggies, a little gravy. Nothing better. So, get back to the restaurant. My brother and his family were away last week. They actually left the night before Easter. So Easter Sunday, it was just me and my dad. And I had texted him during the week. I said, hey, Pop, just me and you. You want to go eat somewhere? And I figured we stay local, but he had texted me back, Rothman's 6:30. Now, Rothman's here on Long Island is an institution. It is one of the best steakhouses in New York. I've never been to it before the last Sunday. I heard nothing but fantastic things about it. With steak, I usually make it myself because I'm picky about how my food's made. I like the way I cook steak. My brother makes steak phenomenal. My dad always made a good steak. Like those are the best, like weekends, like growing up, my dad would go out and get steak and just grill up a huge porterhouse. And my mom would make like some nice sides with it and everything. Nothing better. Nothing better. To me, that's the best. I have a nice steak. Outside of Italian, like macaroni and all that, I love a nice steak dinner. Made the reservation. Got a little gussied up, which I don't like doing. I usually don't like getting dressed up, but I figure it's Easter. Me and Pop are going to eat somewhere nice. So I picked my dad up. We went to Rothman's. The place was packed. They did. The guy said they did like 400 brunches, 400 dinners. Insane. And it's got that old time steakhouse feel when you get in there. Dim light, There's pictures on the old pictures on the wall. You just feel like you're in a real steakhouse. We started off with some drinks. My dad had a vodka martini, dirty. I had a Pilsner beer. I don't drink alcohol a lot, but I do enjoy a beer now and then. I figure we're out. Why not? I like a nice cold tap beer as well. We started off with some drinks. Then we got our appetizers. I went with the maple, I think it's applewood maple bacon. Those thick slabs of bacon you get at a steakhouse. My dad got, I think he got oysters on the half shell. The bacon, by the way, was absolutely delicious, phenomenal. The way it was cooked, like melted in your mouth. It was so good. We ate some of that, and then for dinner we got porterhouse for two. And to me, the best sides with steak: mashed potatoes, cream spinach. It's classic. Can't go wrong. It's not going to hurt you, and it's delicious. I like getting a little bit of each bite. You know, a little bit of potato, spinach, and steak in one bite. That's how I like to eat. I like to mix all my flavors together. The steak was absolutely cooked to perfection, mouth watering. I'm thinking about it now. It was one of the best steaks I ever had. One of the best meals I ever had of all time. I'm gonna say, to me, it was better than Peter Luger's. I know people, that's the bar a lot here in New York is Peter Luger's. Uh, but I think there are better steaks out there. I think this was it. We used to go to Barton and Doyle's a lot back in the day for cigar dinners. They used to have a section glassed off where you could smoke in there, and it was the best because you come in, you having your drink, you light your cigar, and you eat, and after you eat, you light that cigar. My dad said it too. After we finished dinner, we were stuffed. I think there was only two pieces of steak left, two little pieces of steak left. We did a good job on that. And he said, like, how great it would be right now just to light a cigar. I'm like, oh my God, it would be absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you something. After a nice meal, a good meal, light up a cigar. It's nothing better. It's nice and relaxing. It helps you digest. To me, it's the best. That's my go-to. And it was Easter Sunday, so the lounge was closed by then. By the time we got done eating, and it was chilly out, so we it was late. It was getting late too. I had work the next day, but that would have been the perfect thing right there at the table. This was like the '80s. You could do it, or the '90s, or if they had parts sectioned off. After you finish dinner, you light up your cigar, you sit back, and you have your coffee, and that's how you end the night. To me, that's the best way. There's nothing like a good cigar after a meal. It just, you get a nice cup of coffee, nice cigar, and that's heaven. That's how I like to do things. To me, that's a party. That's how I party at almost 47 years old. But seriously, if you ever have the chance, if you have maybe I can speak on the podcast. If you're ever on Long Island and you have the chance, you have to go to Rothman Steakhouse. It's absolutely delicious. Great meal. We were so full we didn't have dessert. Like, I was actually thinking, like, in my head, you're thinking like you go to like a restaurant. I'm like, I'm definitely gonna have a piece of cheesecake after. To me that's a piece of cheesecake and a cappuccino. That's how I usually end my meal at a restaurant. I don't usually get coffee. I'll get a cappuccino at a restaurant. They make it a little, it's a little fancy. And when we're talking cappuccino, some of the best cappuccino I ever had was at Casa de Monte Cristo in Whippany, New Jersey. It's a cigar lounge. Their cappuccino is phenomenal. And they give you the rock sugar. It's on the stick where you could stir it. That cappuccino is awesome. It's weird too because I'm not a big cappuccino drinker like outside of the restaurant. I don't drink cappuccino like when I go to Starbucks or places like that. I'm more of an I get a macchiato, which is espresso. Um, or if I'm getting like making my protein coffees before they had protein coffee, I would get 2 shots of espresso with ice in a cup. I'm not much of a cappuccino drinker outside of a restaurant after a meal. To me, it's like an after dinner drink. Some people might have a digestif, as they call it, a fancy word for alcohol. But I have a cappuccino, and I won't have it outside of a restaurant. I don't know why. I don't know. That's just it's the way I operate, I guess. Who knows? The weird things about me that you'll see that this podcast is gonna highlight the miserable and magical of me. One thing I was happy to actually, to have my brother and my sister-in-law and their family were going away. And every year my sister-in-law does Easter and she makes the pizza rustica, which if you're Italian, it's the Easter pizza, the Easter pie. It's one of the greatest things you can ever eat in my mind. I think I talked about it last week. It's like a pizza dough stuffed with like regot. I think there's mozzarella in it, but there's gabagool and supersad and all different kind of Italian meats chopped up and put into this delicious pie, and you bake it in the oven, and it's just amazing. And I didn't think I was going to get any this year. I was talking to my best friend Nick, and I said to him, I go, me and Papa going out to eat to a steakhouse. Mike and Trudy are away. I don't think I'm getting pizza rustica this year. It's okay. I'll be okay. He's like, I don't think I'm getting any either this year. I'm like, all right, well, it'll be a rustica-free Easter, and we'll get it next year. But when my dad got in the car, he handed me a tinfoil package, and it was because they did Easter Saturday at my sister-in-law's brother's house, and she made it for that, and they saved me a piece, a nice piece too. I was like, oh, I'm getting my rustica too. I'm going to steakhouse. I'm gonna be eating good, and tomorrow I can have my rustica. Oh, it's gonna be it's a good Easter. Let me tell you, that's my favorite breakfast the day after Easter is having a nice cold piece of pizza rustica with a hot cup of coffee. My Uncle Joe introduced me to this. We used to drive down to Florida like twice a year, twice a year. My Uncle Joe moved down to Florida in 1989, my mom's brother, and we would go down to visit. We'd drive down, and we would go like when we were off from school. So that would be either winter or spring break. So a lot of times spring break is right around Easter. So a couple of times we had Easter down in Florida. And my mother every year made the pizza rustica. And she made it down in Florida. So it was like the day after Easter, my Uncle Joe came back from work. He worked overnights at the airport. And he came in. He go into the fridge, cut a piece of pizza rustica, and had it with his coffee. And I go for breakfast. He goes, oh, it's the best this way. And that's how I started eating it. First cold before I got into drinking coffee. But when I started drinking coffee, having that pizza rustica with your coffee is phenomenal. So I got the piece. I put it in the fridge when I got home from dinner. I brought it to work with me the next morning. I got my coffee. I sat at my desk. I got there nice and early, about a half an hour before anybody else gets there. And I sat and I had my pizza rustica and my coffee, and I was in absolute heaven. And it just capped off a nice meal the night before, good breakfast. Not the healthiest of breakfasts, but a good breakfast. And it's the memories really is what it is with this food. And that's why I love Italian food so much. Listen, it's delicious. It's awesome. But it's the memories that come with it. that really makes it great. You know, your grandma made this, your mom made this, your aunt made this, and there's a story behind it usually or something. And when you eat that food again, it's the memories that are brought back. And you know, when I have the pizza rustica, it's the memories of Easter. My mother making the pizza rustica, making the dough. I actually have a an audio recording of me bothering her when she's making it, and she's yelling at me that she's gonna hit me with the rolling pin. I used to play it on my old radio show. But it's those memories that come back with it that I think make the food even better. And that's, to me, that's why I think Italian food, and when you, especially when you make your own Italian food and you having dinner with the family and the food comes out and the stories come out, that makes the meal, that makes the whole thing better. And that's why I think it's so important that, you know, people do Sunday dinners and family dinners and keep those traditions going, because it means a lot, and it just keeps those stories going. So then the next generation has those stories for their generation, and you know, these people live on forever in stories. You know, my nephews and my niece, you know, my dad's the only grandparent that's still alive. You know, so they really only know their grandparents through stories. And a lot of them are told over Sunday dinner. And it's important. To me, that's important. Like, you know, we'll have something like, oh, I remember my mother used to make this. And I'll tell my niece a story or my nephews a story about, you know, my mom and how she used to make whatever she made, and or my grandmother. And it just gets passed on from generation to generation. Like my mom taught my sister-in-law how to make the pizza rustica. And who knows, maybe one day she'll teach my niece how to make it. And, you know, I'll be sitting there as an old man eating pizza rustica, you know, telling my niece how this tastes just like my mom's and her grandmother's. You know, that's the, and it goes from generation to generation. So that's why I think listen, I like to eat the pizza because it's goddamn delicious. And you know, I like to eat, and it's food, but I also like it for those memories. And after I dropped my dad off, I had to go to Nick's house for something, and I actually offered him a piece, and he's like, "No, I had mine." So we both got our rustica on Easter Sunday, so that was good. Talked a lot about pizza rustica and food. Well, that's going to be this podcast sometimes. I'm going to go off on tangents about what I like, and that was that. I know I talked about it last week too, but I actually had it on Sunday, and so I had to get into it today. We'll switch gears a little bit with different go-tos, and I watched a movie this week that is one of my all-time favorite movies. I really do love this movie. To me, it's the perfect rom-com. And there's nothing about this movie I would change, and that is Notting Hill. I love this movie. I can watch this back to back. As soon as it's over, put it back on again. It is a perfect rom-com. There's nothing I would change about it. You know, I'm not a person who likes I don't know, sometimes English accents can annoy me. Like watching a movie set in England and all their slang and everything else. But this movie, nope. I'm right on board. Sign me up. Here we go. Spoiler alert here. If you haven't seen Notting Hill yet, it's only been out for 30 years. So I don't mean to spoil it, but I'm going to talk about the plot and everything. So the plot is there's this guy, William Thacker, played by Hugh Grant. He owns a travel bookshop in Notting Hill where he lives. And one day, the biggest movie star in the world, Anna Scott, comes in, played by Julia Roberts. And sparks are right off the bat. You know, he's a little witty banter and this and that. How it really gets going is he goes to get an orange juice and a roll from a deli. He's walking around the corner. They bump into each other. She gets orange juice all over herself. He tells her, come back to my house. It's right over here, the house with the blue door. And before she leaves, she gets washed up. They talk a little more, and before she leaves, she kisses him, and she calls him the roommate. Who the roommate is absolutely Spike is absolutely hilarious in this movie. You'll love him. Um, he forgets to give the message, but I don't want to give the whole movie away. But anyway, they get together, and it's really the conflict of her being one of the most famous people on the planet and him just being a guy who sells travel books in Notting Hill. You know, her world and his world are two different places. And it kind of crosses over where, like, you know, he goes up to her room and her boyfriend's there. And she's like, I didn't even know I still had a boyfriend. Like, that's you know, Hollywood relationships. And, you know, Hugh Grant's character, you relate to him in a lot of ways. So, you know, because we all play that in our head. Like, what if we met our celebrity crush? Or like, what if that actually worked out? Like, of course they would love. Like, if Sydney Sweeney ran into me tomorrow at the cigar lounge, for some reason she came in because she wanted to buy some cigars, and I'm sitting there, you know, with my DC or coffee, and I'm watching whatever I'm watching. I'm watching the Yankees, and she looks over, and I look over, and yeah, she's smitten. Of course, why not? Wouldn't be. Just kidding. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we ran into a Hollywood actress that, you know, we were attracted to, and does it happen in real life like that? So, I mean, listen, sometimes celebrities do marry regular people that are out of the spotlight. Um, but it's just the characters in this movie are beautifully written. They're hilarious. You have, like I said, Spike is his roommate, and he's phenomenal comic relief. My favorite scene in the movie is when he decides, when he turned down Anna Scott at the end. I'm not going to tell you how they, you know, and everyone's like, it's probably for the best. It's probably, you know, blah, blah, blah. You have that famous scene where she's in the bookstore saying, I'm just, you know, even he's saying, like, you're Hollywood and all this, and I'm just, you know, Notting Hill. And she says, well, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her, which is one of the best fucking scenes in a movie ever. Come on now. What are we doing here? That scene's phenomenal. I could watch that over and over again. I love that scene. It's so fucking good. Seriously. Uh, and what a rom-com should be. So at the end, they're all like telling him he did the right thing, and Spike walks in and he goes, and he's like, Williams just turned down Anna Scott. He looks at her and he goes, you daft prick. I can't even do the accent, but it's a great scene because then he's like, you're right. What I do, like, and I don't want to give away the ending in case no one's seen it. I gave away enough already. The story's perfect. The soundtrack's perfect. There is a montage in the middle of this movie where they go through a year after he's, like, you know, dealing with the breakup, where they could have just put winter to spring, but they do it so beautifully. Him walking through the street in Notting Hill, where he walks from his house to his bookshop, and how the seasons change as he's walking. It's a beautifully shot montage with a great song in it. It's perfect. I'm telling you, this movie is absolutely perfect. And I didn't see it till later on. I didn't see it when it came out. I remember seeing the coming attractions and everything, but this is a movie I found through, you know, HBO. HBO, the movie came on, and I was hooked, and it became one of my favorite movies. They can't make a rom com more perfect than this. They really can't. I'm sorry. The movie, and it goes quickly. You're never like, bored during the movie. You're never like wishing that it would change. It's an awesome movie. Definitely watch this movie if you haven't. It's actually free on YouTube right now. There's some commercials in it, there's some ads, but it's free on YouTube right now. I definitely recommend to go and watch this video. It's the best. The best. And that's really the only thing outside of YouTube. I watched it on YouTube, but I haven't watched really any TV shows. I know I wanted to start the Madison, but I haven't. I've been just trying to keep up with wrestling that we're on the road to WrestleMania. So I haven't really gotten into anything new. After WrestleMania, I'll start a new TV show. I don't want to talk too much about wrestling because I feel like no one likes wrestling except me and a couple of people that listen to the podcast. But it's definitely a big thing for me. I love WrestleMania. It's my favorite time of year. It's a holiday to me. I take off the Monday after WrestleMania Sunday because it's a Saturday and Sunday. It's a big thing for me. My niece though is making her communion on night one. I'm sure everything will be over by then, but even if it's not, I'll just stream it when I'm free. And my niece is the only one who can get me to miss any part of WrestleMania, by the way. So my nephews too. That'll be it. That's the short list. Maybe we'll talk more about that next week after WrestleMania. We'll talk more about the matches and everything, and I don't want to bore people too much with that. One thing I'm excited about in the coffee world, when I talk about coffee places, I live on Long Island, so everything I talk about is on Long Island. So if you're listening off of the island, you're like, I don't know this place. Well, you ever come visit? You can check it out. There's a coffee shop buzzed in Long Island in my old hometown of Belmore. It's actually North Belmore where it is. It used to be a dairy barn. My cousin Joe worked there when he was in high school, or maybe I was in high school. He was out of high school. Either way, he worked there, and now it's a coffee shop. Not a shop where you can get. It's a drive-through coffee place. It's what a phenomenal idea they had, and you can order ahead online, and you go there, and they have these flavors of the month. And when was this one? I'm trying to think when the churro latte was out. I forget when it was originally out, but it's a phenomenal iced coffee. It's probably the best iced coffee I ever had. The churro flavor, the cinnamon, and they give you a churro on top of it. I like to dunk it into the cold foam in the coffee. It's delicious. They just announced that the churro latte is back full time. Bam, get it whenever you want. I'm actually gonna get one today. That's my coffee for today. Is my gonna be the churro latte. So I'm excited about that. I did a video on it. I did a fuck your pumpkin spice on it. You can go over to Comic Anthony D and check that out. It's in the reels, so it's a good archive to go check out. So this week, and last night I was at the cigar lounge watching my Yankees just completely shit the bed again. They're not looking good. Same old story. Aaron Boone's the pits. I don't really want to get aggravated and talk about it that much, but the main thing is Cashman and Boone have to go. They put together these teams that do not have it. They don't play fundamentally sound baseball. Their heads are up their asses. Just look at Jazz Chisholm in the ninth inning last night with the game on the line in extra innings. Ball's hit to him, and he just bobbles it and just throws it to first, and game's over. That's it. Run scores. because his head's up his ass. The head's not in the game. That's the manager's job. Get guys out there who want to play baseball. A guy's hitting 70 in the lineup. That's what they're hitting, 70. Not 100, not 200, 70. 0, 7, 0. 0.070. That's what they're hitting. McMahon's hitting 70. And he's in the lineup every day. By accident, you can hit 70. If you never played baseball before, you just stuck your bat out, you would magically hit 70. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I'm going to get aggravated. I'm going to enjoy the game today. Hopefully. But my go-to cigars this week have been from one of my favorite cigar manufacturers, cigar brands, Dunbarton Tobacco, made by Mr. Steve Saka. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust make some of the best cigars out there. And last night I had myself a Saka Saturday. I had the Somber Mesa Brulee and the Umbagog. Somber Mesa Brulee is the best Connecticut cigar out there. I don't care what anybody says. It's got like a sweetness to it, almost like my buddy Gormy once described as a butterscotch. It's the only time I've actually tasted a flavor note is on this one. This thing is not bitter like most Connecticut's. It burns beautifully. It's a great tasting cigar. I actually like it better than the darker one. And I'm usually more of a Maduro guy. The regular Somber Mesa. I like the Somber Mesa Brulee better. The Umbagog is the best bundle cigar you'll ever have. Steve Saka takes the leaves and wrapping of the miquierdas that he's not using, or he thinks like has a blemish or too veiny or whatever, and he uses that for the miquierda, for the Umbagogs. And they are, if you had just tasted these cigars, you would not think it's their bundle cigar. You buy the Umbagogs, it comes in like a brown paper, minimal, was no, it just says Umbagog on the wrapper in green and white lettering around it. Not a lot goes into the, presentation, but they are absolutely phenomenal cigars for their bundle cigar. And you can get them online for like, anywhere from like $8 to $10. And I like everything in the Dunbarton line. That's one of my all-time favorite cigar brands is Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, not Dunbarton and Tobacco and Trust. Just Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust if you're looking at it. And Steve Saka came from Drew Estate, other companies as well, but he started this line 10 years ago. Their 10th anniversary cigar, the Jubilee, is phenomenal as well. He's never made a bad cigar, which is, I think, you would think impossible, but he's never made a bad cigar. And he actually has a joke. People always talk about they want Lanceros, which are it's a thin cigar. And the thing about Lanceros is you're smoking more of the wrapper, getting more flavor. He does not like Lanceros. He actually makes fun of Lancero smokers. But he decided to make a sample Lancero pack, and he called it GFY, go fuck yourself. And he hates Cameroon, and he hates Lanceros, but he made a Cameroon Lancero. And he's smoking it, and he goes, even when I try to make a shitty cigar, I can't. So that just, it's a joke. He's being, funny, but it's serious. It's true. He can't make a bad cigar. I've never had a Dunbarton cigar I have not liked. From the Stillwells to the Somber Mesas, Sin Compromiso, Saka Khans, the Tricky Trackers, all these different cigars they have are phenomenal. The Red Meat Lovers. Umbagog Brown's back. They're all phenomenal. So if you are a cigar smoker, or a cigar smoker in your life and you want to get them some good cigars, go to your local brick and mortar and ask them if they have Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. If not, a great place to buy them is Cigar Page, cigarpage.com. That's my go-to cigar purchasing site. They have the best deals, no shipping. Well, they don't charge you for shipping. So they don't charge extra shipping. And they got great cigars there at an amazing price. And they'll email you like deals. And all of a sudden you wake up, you look at your email, and it's like, okay, take my money, and here it is. Like the last deal I got from them, they had something where like 5 packs were like under $20 if you bought 4 or more. I got 35 cigars, like $130 or something like that. Insane. But that's my go-to cigars company and my go-to cigar site. I'm happy they work together. And coming up, we'll have the playoffs soon. Not baseball. Baseball just started, but excuse me. Basketball, hockey. Their playoffs will start this month. My Islanders, it's slim chances they're going to get in. I still have some hope, but it's slim to none they're going to get in. The Knicks already clinched the 3 seed in the East, so it looks like Knick basketball will be very prevalent the next month, so to speak. Hopefully this team can put a run together. I've never seen a Knick championship. It's been over 50 years since the last one. I've seen them go to the finals twice, but that's it. And hopefully now that this team is starting to click on all cylinders here, we can make a nice run and hopefully make a finals appearance. We'll see what happens. And we'll talk more about that as the playoffs happen. I want to thank everybody who joined us this week on the Go-To Podcast. As always, you can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify. It's on Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. It's on YouTube as well at the Go-To YouTube channel. It's youtube.com. at the Go-To Pod. I have all the links in my link tree at Comic Anthony D on the Instagram page. Also have a link for Buy Me a Coffee. It's where you can support the podcast, help support the podcast. All the money goes back into this podcast, keeping the lights on, so to speak, and doing podcasts maybe that'll be outside of the studio and other things like that. So if you feel you're so inclined, click that Buy Me a Coffee link and, thank you. I'll have a coffee. I'll buy coffee with it, too. So you'll technically buy me a coffee. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Your support means the world to me. Like I said, I say it each week. I'm having a blast podcasting again. I love doing it, and I'm happy that you guys are joining me here to listen each week. So have a phenomenal week, and we'll talk soon.